Welcome to DL Gaming. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
And I am not as drunk as the last episode. I'm going to be drunk every other episode because we do movies on the DL before every other week. So, this time I'm starting fresh. This is only my second drink as opposed to my sixth where I've been getting drunk again. But I mean, I had one bad episode, but other than that, I think I've been keeping it together.
Yeah.
You know, one a year isn't that bad of a ratio.
Yeah.
As long
It used
as you
to
clean
be.
up.
It used to be pretty bad. What is it, like once a month? Probably? Or
Yeah,
more?
we had some wild times.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about movies on the DL later, but we do want to encourage people to check out our Patreon page. We've got new rewards there. We're going to have hopefully new content soon coming out, Patreon only stuff. And t-shirts are coming out too. So get in at that $10 tier, get a t-shirt.
DLGaming.net. And if you don't like reoccurring stuff, you can just buy a t-shirt. That helps us out too. Just go to DLGaming.net and all the links are there.
How much is the tier for making us review any game you want?
That's the $18 tier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't forget, you can subject any one of us to any as bad or as good as a game that you think it is for $18.
Well, not just that. We also have this other, it's kind of like a spoken, unspoken rule. I mean, I've said it, but I've never agreed with Bobby about it. I just threw it out there one day. I said, if you buy us a game, anything over $5, I used to say buy us any game and we'll play it. But then there was so much garbage coming our way. It was mostly dicks, like a lot of dick stuff, dick games, put these dicks in here, dick Tetris, all kinds of stuff. I was like, no. I put a $5 cap on it, so it's got to be at least $5. I'll play that shit. The last one, Warconia sent me trying to fuck Stalin, something like that, like trying to seduce Stalin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
$5 might be too low.
$7.50. It's like a reverse auction.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some games that are coming out here. First up on the radar, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. So this is a brawler beat-em-up game very similar to the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game from the original Nintendo. It looks like what they're doing with this one is the same thing that they did for Streets of Rage 4. They're taking an old IP, they're making a new game, but they're keeping everything pretty much the same. They're keeping it very close to the original. They're not trying to reimagine anything. It's the same type of gameplay with a few modern updates to it. I, for one, am very excited about this. I loved that Ninja Turtle game. Not the first one for the Nintendo. Really didn't like that one. Very difficult. Could never get past that water level. But the second one, the brawler beat 'em up, I played that one so much on the Nintendo.
And I played it at the arcade. It was one of those ones that had four joysticks, right?
Was that at the arcade or was that Turtles in Time? I remember
think
playing
that was
Turtles in Time a lot at the arcade.
Yeah, I think it was probably Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
There's like 4 different games that had that set up. Wasn't there like the Simpsons one?
Yeah.
Yep.
The Ninja Turtles one, and then the X-Men one. But the X-Men one had was it 4 or 6?
I think that had 6. The X-Men one was good too. And those brawler beat 'em ups were great for arcades because that's a great way to get quarters.
Yeah, it's a quarter muncher.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because you probably can't. They're kind of set up to where you can't really beat them all in one life. Although people do it. You see someone speedrun that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 on Nintendo. It's insane. But they were really set up for failure. So you just had to keep pumping in the quarters, but then you kept making progress. Like you could beat the game and be really terrible at it. It was just going to cost you a whole lot.
Yeah, right.
So you always felt like you were making progress, and it gave you that weird feeling of reward.
And another good thing about it is, Nick, I probably did this to you. Like we'd be at Chuck E. Cheese and he could just be playing. It was kind of like give your little nephew the controller at home thing.
Mm-hmm.
He would just be smashing on the controller thinking that he's playing because so much is going on. He doesn't know he's not playing.
Yeah.
Yep. Same thing, right?
Yeah,
there.
that happened.
Yep.
At least a couple times.
At least a couple times.
But Shredder's Revenge, they have no release date on it yet, just coming soon. They have no price on it yet. I did notice in one of the screenshots that they have, it's got the Foot Clan member being thrown right at the screen, which is straight out of Turtles in Time. That was a really cool thing in Turtles in Time where you could flip them. Yeah, that shot right there. You can flip them and they'd throw them like right at the screen. They'd like hit the glass of the screen and fall down like they hit a windshield. Great stuff.
Did
Somebody
they say they
told-
were going to add anything to the game? Like, were they going to add any new levels or like abilities or anything?
So I didn't play Streets of Rage 4. I think this is by the same developer too, or at least the same publisher. But Streets of Rage 4, they made very little changes to it, but it was pretty much the old Streets of Rage games, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like there's just fan service or retro
Mhm.
fan service, I guess. They're not. It's not their idea to like reinvent the wheel. They're just like throwing out
Yeah.
what
I mean, it's a new game. They're not remastering
Right.
anything.
it's a new game.
Yeah, it's a whole new game, new levels, all
Okay.
that. But it's going to play just like the old ones.
I wasn't a fan of Streets of Rage 4. I was like, where's the new shit? I need some. Why is this not a roguelike?
Well, Brawler beat 'em up games.
Why is this?
Wow. Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That theme song, man. I used to love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man, so much. Like really into it. I think my parents took me to the show. Remember when they did the tour, the concert?
No.
Where
Oh,
it was
God.
it was all a gimmick. They weren't actually playing, it was all staged,
Right,
right?
right, right.
Where they'd come out and pretend to put on like a rock show and they'd play songs and stuff.
Are you telling me that people in costumes weren't playing their instruments, Bobby? Is that what you're trying to
People
tell
dressed
me?
up in full Ninja Turtle costumes were not in
You're
fact
telling me
playing
they
the
couldn't
guitar.
play the bass with 2 fingers?
Oh my
Oh, here we
gosh.
go. Here we
What
go. We
is
got some
this?
video. Yeah, dude, and they dress up in like the denim jackets, all like studded. And yeah, Splinter would come out. April would go out there. Yeah, dude, I was there. I'm probably back there. I had that Michelangelo
Dude, that's
headband.
You. Isn't that you?
No, the
Is
one that the
you?
black kid is wearing. No, I'm not. That's not me, obviously.
Is that you? No, I'm not black.
But I had that same headband, dude, that I got at the concert. Yeah,
You
dude,
have it now?
It might be in the garage somewhere, dude.
That is
It
pretty
could still
sweet.
be there. I'm just saying, man. Really into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid.
So I used to collect comic books a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend that he was older than me, and he kind of showed me the ropes and stuff. Anyway, he told me that when they were first released, the Teenage Mutant Turtle was kind of like released for adults. It was a more adult
Oh yeah, it's
book.
very adult oriented.
Oh, okay. Have you
Yeah.
ever read any of that?
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh.
The kid, there's 2 guys that created it, right?
Uh-huh.
I can't remember their names, but the kid of one of them goes to the school that I work at, or used to. I think he graduated last year. So he came into the art class, did a little talk, and like showed the kids some stuff. It was great. But
I mean, that's impressive, but there's no Dr. Mario world champion, dude.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't live up to my neighborhood buddy being the Dr. Mario world champ 2019.
You guys know that there's a show on Netflix called like The Toys That Made Us. And they had
Yeah,
a
I've
whole
seen
Yeah, they had an
on
episode on
TMNT.
that. Yeah, and the guy was in that. He was in that
Yeah.
episode. Yeah, and those are great, man. I love that Netflix show. Obviously some of the toys, not so much. Like G.I. Joe's, I was kind of into.
And he married Vampirella, I think. I think that's true.
Vampirella?
Yeah, they kind of like. No, that's a comic book. I'm talking about the chick with the big tits. She's like the Dolly Parton of Halloween.
Elvira?
Elvira. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So the Ninja Turtle cartoons were definitely for adults, and they were originally from outer space or something. They had a whole different origin story, and then they kind of changed as time went by and became way more marketable towards children.
I think the Ooze is a great idea. That's better than Aliens
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, except of course, being a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, young and impressionable, I really wanted to go running around sewers. Like, I just wanted to get in there. My friends and I used to always just try to like pull up manhole covers and try to get into the sewers.
Dude, it's one of the most common video game areas possible. And meanwhile, like if it was true you were down there, you'd probably die of like dysentery.
Sepsis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they make it look really nice, in the movies and the cartoons. Like
Yeah,
they got
it's
this
not
nice little
nice.
setup down there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe New York sewers are like that. I don't know. Probably not.
All right, we're getting
I've been
into
in
the
New
weeds
York.
here. We're getting into the weeds here, but I gotta fucking bring it up. So, on Dirty Jobs, Mike Rowe went to San Francisco, and he went to go hang out with the sewer maintenance crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
They still have the original in a lot of places. The original sewers that were put in like 1900 or whatever. So it's literally red brick, in a circle, a cylinder, and they have to go in there and re-spackle it every year. I mean, not once a year. They do it. It's kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge. Once you're done painting it, you got to start over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing. So they go in there, And so he's wearing this hazmat suit. Shit biscuits are just floating by the entire time. And he's just spackling the walls, dude. Oh, and it's 210 degrees because of the whatever the fuck.
The methane.
Yeah.
I hope he gets paid a lot for that.
Gee.
That sounds like terrible work. They should do a Mythbusters on if you can live in the sewers or not. That'd
Or
be a
if there
good
was ever
episode.
alligators down there. That was a big thing.
Oh, dude, I was so scared of alligators in the sewer. What was that movie?
How are you scared you never went to the sewer, though?
Because my parents were watching that movie where there was an alligator in the sewer. No idea what movie it was. Can't remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was always terrified of that. I saw a lot of things at a young age that instilled some fears in me. All right, I saw Ghoulies 2 when I was really
Yeah,
young.
that scared the shit out
Yeah,
of me.
dude,
Oh,
never
God.
wanted to sit on a toilet again.
No.
You know? Just,
That little ghoulie comes out of the fucking...
yeah, you don't even see it. You just hear the guy scream bloody murder.
Yeah.
You're just like, as a child, like the theater of the mind, you just
Ugh.
your head goes to just horrible places.
Terrible.
Yeah, so yeah, I've never shat in a toilet since. Bushes all the way.
What do you call it? Have you guys ever seen like what they do in India for like having to do sewer maintenance and stuff? And it's just straight up a dude with like a hose, and that's how he breathes, and he has to like feel around in there. It's so bad, dude.
It's gotta be so bad.
It's so gnarly.
Wow.
Like,
Oh, here's the guy.
I'm glad we did like 10 minutes on sewers just right up front
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
beginning of
that's
the
the way to
show.
Don't forget to subscribe if you want more shitty
We
content.
told people to buy T-shirts, then we talked about sewers and Ninja Turtles for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
it's gonna be our next T-shirt. It's us as Ninja Turtles in front of a sewer with an alligator in it.
dude, our T-shirts are sewer rated. Like, you're gonna be covered if you have to go into a sewer. You'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. What have you guys been looking at this week?
I took a look at Deathloop, which is the next Bethesda game, which
Yeah.
we have some news on that coming up. But as far as we know, everything's going to stay. They're going to honor their contracts. So they're going to be on PlayStation exclusively at first, and then
It's different per game. So Deathloop specifically is
Yeah.
gonna be a PlayStation exclusive for a while.
yeah, they're not going to break the contract. And then it's going to go right onto Game Pass. So for $5, or no, somebody told me it's $10 a month now. Is that can we
Yes.
confirm?
They increase the price.
Just for the PC one, right? So it's out of beta.
Correct.
Okay. Still worth it. Anyway. So, yeah. So it's an interesting game. You kind of get this vibe of kind of like a Black Austin Powers. The main protagonist is a black guy. And it's kind of like, it feels 70s, and you're playing Groundhog's Day. So every day you wake up, it's the same day, and you have 24 hours to kill, I believe it's 8 or 12 basically bosses, the guys that are, doing all the evil things that are making this time loop go over and over and over. I believe that they're profiting on the time loop, and you're out there trying to kill everybody. It kind of reminded me of Edge of Tomorrow, how like Tom Cruise keeps coming back, and by the end he's a master of everything. And the guy talks about it, the protagonist in the video of the gameplay video. He's like, oh, this guy? And he's talking about one of the bosses. He's like, I run circles around him. I've done so many loops. I know every single second where he's going to be. And I imagine that's where you're going to be. So it's kind of like it's a roguelike, but not really, I guess. You know what I mean? Like you're doing the same thing over and over and over, but you're just learning the old-fashioned way by repetition.
Yeah.
Hopefully they keep it fun enough where like it doesn't get stale though.
It's kind of funny that movies took that idea from video games.
And then now it's
And then-
back.
Yeah, and then they took it back. It's come full circle.
Yeah, totally.
Or loop.
Ooh, look at that.
And you know what's even weird? There's another movie that uses this whole ploy. It's called Boss Level. It just came out on Hulu. I haven't watched it yet. I think Mel Gibson's in it, but it's the same thing. Groundhog's Day, but with combat. So like
Hopefully it's
Edge of
good.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Last thing, it's open world, so you can. It's kind of like Mega Man. You can go after any boss in any order you want. I think you start to figure out what order you should do it in because apparently one of the guys like discovers something around 1 p.m. every day. you know? So you got to make sure you kill that guy before 1 p.m.
Okay.
And like it might help you out or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with Mega Man was you wanted to kill this boss because he gives you a power that's really effective against another boss.
Yeah, you get special
So-
powers in this too.
Okay.
It's all over the place, man. Like it has this swanky like 70s vibe going on, 60s vibe, and then it's also like this time loop thing, and then I don't know, it has a lot going on.
Yeah, it looks
You also
interesting.
missed like one of the most important parts of the game, which is like the antithesis of the main character, which is like a woman that
Oh,
goes
yeah.
through the same loop over and over again. That's constantly hunting him every loop,
Yeah, so
and because he breaks the loop, she's the only thing that recognizes that the loop is going on and is trying to stop him.
yeah, totally forgot about that. Yeah, so there's not only is there this AI controlled person that's hunting you down the whole time. It's kind of Dark Souls ish, where if you put your online mode open, players can come in and be that person and hunt you down in real time.
What's the
as you
advantage
play.
to that? Do you get something for that?
I don't know.
I have no idea. That's
Yeah.
that's
That's a
one thing I think
detail,
they're
I'm sure
keeping
that-
close to their chest.
Yeah.
Being a troll, fucking up somebody else's
No,
else's
no,
game.
I mean allowing other people into your game. They
Oh.
got to give you some bonus for allowing that. But I'm sure that's a detail that we'll all soon know. But they're playing with some great ideas here. They got a good look to it for a AAA game, which I'm not usually too interested in. This actually looks good. It's coming out May 2021, and that's on Steam. So that's for the PC.
Yep.
And I assume it's going to be part of the Xbox Game Pass.
Yep. But still not worth it, Bobby. Still not worth it.
Still not
now it's double. Now I got to double convince you.
Yeah.
I felt like I was like really mounting a good argument for the $5, and now it's $10. I'm like, shit, I got to start all over.
$10, a little steep, a month.
So this week I chose a game that you guys might recognize. You guys played so many games when you guys were younger. Have you guys ever heard of a game called Sin?
Mm-mm. I can't remember.
That sounds
it.
very familiar.
It does.
Apparently, it's like a game that uses like the Quake engine, and it has to do with like a bunch of like scary like antagonists and stuff, and like it had really good storytelling and like memorable characters.
Well,
However,
if it's from the 90s,
I've
probably
never
not.
played Sin.
I know that name. I've never played it though.
Yeah, so this is like the re-release of it, completely, textures revamped, resolution up there, FPS revamped. And so I love these kind of games in the sense of like being able to visit an old game with a new face is nice. Only because like there's a YouTuber I watched, his name is Mandalore Gaming, and he always looks at older games that have been remade and he evaluates the differences and like says the positives and the negatives between the two. So I think I'm actually going to check this out.
They're showing the old and the new graphics, and it is a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this looks good. And I too like those games, the old ones where they remaster it and they modernize it just a little bit, but not too much. It's a great way to
Yeah.
re-experience a lot of really great old games. No release date on this yet. Just says 2021 and no price.
And no price too. And then I think the best thing that I've ever seen for like remakes and re-releases and like touching up the little things was when they re-released Metal Gear Solid 3 and they put the Metal Gear Solid like third person shooting controls in the game, which made the game like 1,000 times easier to play. So if they ever in games like this, if they ever put any quality of life stuff like that, then I'd be definitely would play it. Like if you play Mech Warrior remakes, they still have like the crazy numpad like controls
Yeah.
where you're using like comma to fire and stuff like that.
Yeah. Remakes, remasters, those are really hard to do because there's so many missteps you can make. And the bigger the change you make, the riskier it is, but it could be a big payoff. Black Mesa, they made huge changes at the end of that. Big changes. They completely redid the end of the game, basically, but it totally works. And you're messing with Half-Life, right? Like, the
Our Bible.
yeah, pretty much the Bible of PC
gaming.
gamers.
Yeah. Speaking of Reloaded, Portal Reloaded is a free-to-play Portal 2 mod coming out that allows you to use a third portal Ooh, crazy. The third portal is for time. So I was just reading the description. I was like, my brain already hurts. So not only are you dealing with the portals of teleportation, you have this third portal where you can rewind or slow, or I don't know exactly how it works, but you can fuck around with time mechanics on top of the spatial mechanics. So yeah, I don't know. I hope they do a good job. I don't know if I have the brain power anymore to pull this one off. I hope one of you guys play it and then let me know how it goes.
Was Portal that hard though? Especially the second one. That one was not hard.
I think no, not as hard.
The first one was a little mind bending. But
Yeah.
Oh,
The co-op was pretty mind bending.
in the second one,
I thought so.
I didn't think that was either.
There was
too
a few
bad.
times where we were like, "What the fuck do we do here?"
I remember being pretty underwhelmed with the challenge of the second one. I thought it was great in other ways. The voiceover work and the story and
Yeah.
the graphics, they did a lot of great things with it. But as far as the puzzles went, I didn't think it was as good as the first Portal.
And if
Guys,
you
yeah,
like
I'm
Portal,
definitely
know-
gonna play this.
I know it wasn't hard because I did acid for the first time with my friends, and we beat it before we were not high.
Portal
So if-
2?
Yeah, Portal 2. So if 3 people
No,
can
dude,
beat
Portal
it
2 is
high
like
on
6 hours
acid,
long.
What?
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 Portal
What?
2 is like 6 hours long, right?
Yeah,
Or maybe
maybe.
8?
Yeah, the single player.
Yeah, you're talking about Portal 1, dude. Portal 1 is
No, I'm
like
talking.
2 hours
No,
long.
I'm talking about Portal 2.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't remember how.
looks trippy.
I don't know. Both the games I remember being not incredibly short, but I don't know. It's hard to compare the two, and people always do because Portal 1, nobody was expecting
No.
anything.
Portal 1's under 2 hours. It's super short. And if you're really smart, you can get it done in an hour.
Yeah, because it was more like an add-on, right? Or it was like a fan-made thing or something like that.
I don't know. My buddy came over and we're like, this is the greatest shit ever. He's a non-gamer, but he's like a engineer. He said, he was like, done. He came out like 45 minutes an hour. He's like, beat it. I was like, you motherfucker. We had beat it already, but it took us a lot longer than fucking an hour.
Portal Reloaded. So I'm confused. Is this a remake of the Portal game or is this a whole new thing?
No, there's a mod.
No, this is a whole
there's
new
a mod
thing.
for
Like, if
Portal
you-
2.
I've been watching the gameplay, and it seems like Portal 2. Spoiler alert if you haven't played it. Portal 2. A lot of the labs have been run down, and you see a lot of like grass and shit and like overgrowth. And in Portal 1, everything's kind of clean, and this time portal seems to let you travel between both of them. And so the puzzle they just solved on screen, like they had to travel back and forward through time to get 2 companion cubes to put on the buttons. So it seems really interesting.
Yeah, and it's free. Why wouldn't you play this? So, yeah,
Well, it's free if you have Portal 2,
right.
or do you need Portal 2?
I would imagine.
But I'm pretty sure when you sign up for a Steam account, they give you Portal 2 at this point.
Yeah, Portal 2 like goes on. I think the cheapest. It might have been free a few times. Such a great game.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it for $1 multiple times.
Bobby, what's PowerNap?
PowerNap Ultimate Game Updater. This is just some random thing I saw on somebody's profile, and I was like, what is that? PowerNap. It's not out yet, so I don't know how he got a hold of it. I think it's like coming soon or in beta or something, like closed beta. But the idea behind this application is that it updates your applications whenever you set it to, right? Like automatically updates things, which usually isn't much of a problem these days, at least with games, because Steam does a great job of managing updates. But this updates other things as well, things outside of Steam or games or whatever. I don't know. It kind of seems like a program that you wouldn't really need. I don't have much trouble keeping things up to date.
Yeah, doesn't Windows do this for you already?
No, not applications.
Not applications, I guess.
No, I mean, it'll,
This is not a I don't have this problem.
yeah, I don't know. It might be one of those things where it's just a solution to a problem nobody has.
Yeah, I feel like updates are so quick now. They're so small. Well, internet's so fast that, it's a couple seconds at the worst.
I think what this is targeted to is like people like me that play like Arc and like Rust, because some days they're like, all right, update's coming out on the 4th, and then the update comes out, and then they're like, minor update in 3 hours, and you're like, what? And so maybe that's what it's for, but it seems kind of odd.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah.
A couple of really quick ones. Metalheads is a party game. It has up to 8 players. It's a top-down view or isometric view. And you play these kind of like, I don't know, these little colorful guys. There's metal music going on the whole time. And it's a lot of like dodging the bad shit and winning. There's all kinds of bunch of little games on there. And Bobby and I have always said, like, why isn't there a Mario Party for PC? And a lot of people have tried, and I'm sure this is not going to get there either, but it does look good. At least this one has good graphics, and it looks good for party, game night. So that's why I threw it on here. Hopefully it's not too expensive where a lot of people can buy it and we can fuck around, have a good time pushing each other off ledges. But take a look at it because the graphics are cool.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's got better graphics than you usually see on a game like this.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last one is Siralim Ultimate. I think like 18-year-old or 15-year-old me would have just like, oh, this is my shit. But I don't have the time for a game like this. So I hope somebody else out there plays it and lets me know what they think. It's basically a monster game where there's 1,200 monsters, and then you can catch them and stuff like that. And you can breed them and get even more monsters out of that. Out of those monsters, you put a 6-man group together, and you go into dungeons, and you fight other monsters and try to get more monsters and get deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's kind of like a original old JRPG mixed in with some Pokemon in there. Yeah, I don't have the time for this, but something with this kind of depth, I wish I was like, a lot younger and a lot more single, and I could play something like this. But like their number one word that they use throughout all of their description is like depth, and it has really good reviews so far. So,
wait, is it out yet?
I believe it's in early access, and it has a very positive score right now of like 90 or something.
Okay, yeah, $17.99 right now. Kind of old graphics, very classic graphics.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's it for On the Radar.
All right. Before we get into the games that we played, let's talk a little bit about movies on the DL. So that is out now. All the first 3 of our episodes have been released as of today. If you go to, we don't really have a website for it, but if you just go to iTunes or wherever you get podcasts, just type in movies on the DL, you will be able to find it. And this is basically just Emilio and I talking about one specific movie that the community watches together, and then we just talk about whatever we've been watching over the last week or two. It's kind of like what we used to do for our patrons, but a little bit longer and a little more in depth.
So last night was movie night on our Discord, and people watched Her together. I don't know how many people got it. Were you there, Bobby?
No.
Okay. So people did get together. I saw the log of people talking about it, which is interesting to read after the fact because you already watched the movie and you could read what people thought. Mm-hmm. But anyway, people got together, watched it last night, and then that episode releases today. So the day after the movie night happened, then people can get together then the next day people can listen to the podcast and listen to what we thought about it.
Yeah.
So while they're thinking about it, probably because hopefully we're just watching good movies here, but
yeah. Well, the next one is going to be March 27th. We're going to be watching Blade Runner 2049 on the Discord server. So be there for that. That's a Saturday. And then the following day, our next episode will release talking about that movie. And then, of course, whatever else we've been watching.
You don't have to be part of the game night. The movie night, but it's definitely better if you do.
Yep. All right. So be sure to check that out. Just wherever you get podcasts, Movies on the DL. Check it out. Check out our artwork, if nothing else, our album art.
Pop,
Yeah.
pop.
So proud of that.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And I'm not even on it, so
You're
it's gonna be
in
great.
spirit, dude. In spirit.
All right, let's talk about some games. Before we talk about some games, though, let's talk about this new news with Bethesda and the Xbox Game Pass. So they just added 20 games to that. They added, what was it?
Well, Microsoft acquired Bethesda.
Yeah, they acquired Bethesda, so we knew this was going to happen.
Sorry, ZeniMax.
ZeniMax.
The parent company,
Yeah.
which has it owns a few things that Bethesda doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we knew this was going to happen, but we were a little curious about new titles. DEATHLOOP, for instance, which is a Bethesda game. But I think besides the ones that were already involved in something, all the new Bethesda games are going to be added to the Xbox Game Pass. I think that's how it's going to work.
And not just that, exclusive to Game Pass, which is big.
Mm-hmm.
At least initially.
Well, exclusive to Xbox or Microsoft.
Yeah, the Microsoft.
So you don't have to get Game Pass. You could just buy it from them.
Right.
Yeah. But the games that they added, they're all good ones, but they're all ones I've already played. So this isn't that big of a deal for me. It's all the Doom games, the Wolfenstein games. What were those horror games? I played the first one and really enjoyed it. The Evil Within.
Yeah. Dude, I
Elder
went down the
Scrolls.
list and I was like, oh, sorry. Too bad I already spent $350 on all of these things right here.
Yeah. Prey. That was a good one. I liked Prey. Yeah, it's great, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have already paid or played these games. So
Once
maybe
again,
not that
I
big.
think it's another thing that it's good for is like those people that like just build a gaming PC and stuff like that, and like maybe they're just wanting to be cost efficient as much as possible. Like this is a great way to get some games.
Yeah, there are some problems with it though. If you get Deep Rock Galactic, which is part of the Game Pass, you can't play with people who are playing on Steam, which is really unfortunate. You can play with people who are playing on the Xbox, I guess, but not with people who play on Steam.
That is unfortunate.
Splits the community.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But you know, they're just enriching their product.
Mhm.
Like it's just getting better. It's like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you've played these games or if you already own them or whatever. It's for the people that already subscribe. It's just getting better for them to. It's just an overall better product that you already own. Most PC gamers, I feel like, have Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've seen a couple times, and especially like with Ark, is that like you guys said with Deep Rock Galactic, but some of it even goes along the lines of like Game Pass will get an update like a week later, and things like that. Like I've seen a couple odd things happen with like games like Ark because this week I played Ark and we wiped our server and we were like, let's play something that we all haven't played because there's a bunch of maps for Ark now. It's just not the same map over and over again. And once again, Cricket just shows that he's a maniac and without never playing this map, completely like blows everyone out of the water instantaneously. By like taming like the hardest things you can tame, and he's about to fight the boss, and he's like talking about, oh yeah, you know, once I beat the boss on this map, I'm gonna create a base that all you guys can try to attack me. We wouldn't scratch that guy. But the map is called Crystal Isles, and it's free, and it arguably is the best free DLC I've ever played on a PC game.
Damn, dude.
It is super beautiful. It introduces a new type of dinosaur. It also introduces new dinosaurs. Has, I think, over 16 different biomes, and it's a blast. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's got some bugs and a little bit of problems. It's got like mixed reviews, but it's really fun, in my opinion. The new dinosaur you can put a jetpack on, which is what we're seeing on screen.
Yeah, I
right
just
now.
saw it. And a minigun.
Yeah, it's actually a grenade launcher.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But the thing about this map is that it was released on their 5-year anniversary. And so, like I said, it's free LC. If you're already on the game, you can play it no problem. And I don't know, like, unfortunately, I haven't been able to sink so much time because I've just been really busy this week. but I'm definitely going to be, picking it up this week and playing more of it.
Cool. Sounds good.
More Ark. All right.
How many types of milk did they add in this DLC?
How
many more? How many
they
more?
have a new type of milk. I think it's crystal wyvern milk, but it might just be regular wyvern milk. I don't know.
He's asking if there are other udders, dude. Are there other udders?
No, unfortunately, there's not. No more new udders.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So now there's Crystal Wyvern milk, kind of like when they made Crystal Pepsi. So what's going on here? Is it clear?
There's like this crazy like version of dinosaurs as well. They're called tropical dinosaurs. And you're like, oh, that'd be cool. Like they're probably like really cool colors and stuff. Nope, they're walking skeletons that are filled with like they look like they're filled with water, and they're pretty cool. They don't really do anything special besides just look cool. So.
Weird. I played. Let's see, what should I start with? I'm going to start with The Last of Us 2. I finished it today. It is so much longer than you think that it is. There was 2 points where I'm like, oh, this is definitely where the game is going to end. And then there was so much game after that. I'm not complaining. Like, it is so good. I mean, for those that think that it's a PC gaming podcast, they're like, hey, why is he talking about console stuff? I play console because, first of all, somebody sent me one. Thank you, Muchacho Major. And 2, I babysit. And when I'm babysitting my own baby, it's just easier. You know, she's sleeping right there. I don't have to watch her. I'm just gaming. And so it works out for me. So I don't know how long this game is. Like if you were to like, there is no quest. It's just like you're playing through one thing. So I want to say around 50 hours. Sniper, can you look that up? But either way, it's a great game. I can't really get into too much of it because I don't want to do any spoilers. But I did cry. So I'm gonna put this on the record for the third game I think ever that has made me cry. And it's made me cry twice. So I think that's the first game that made me do that. I ain't cry like a little baby, right? Not like wah wah. But, you know, there was tears. I was a little embarrassed. And it's fucking great. It's a great fucking game. I won't be playing too many console games, but maybe Games of the Years I'll be playing.
You going to play God of War?
Yeah, I downloaded and started playing it already.
Nice. How do you like it so far?
After coming off the Last of Us 2, I'm like, this is not the Last of Us 2. I want more Last of Us 2. But I've only played like 10 minutes, so.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, you're not. You'll get to the crying moments of God of War. I arguably cried more in God of War than any other game.
Damn. What else did I get? I got a projector. I talked about it last week. I finally decided to pull the trigger. Sniper, can you click on the one so I can just talk about the one that I got, and hopefully if anybody has it or... So I got the Viewsonic X10 4K edition.
That's a short throw projector.
Yeah, it's a short throw, but it's not limited to short throw. It has that range, you know. It can do it. Short throw is like, you know, from 4 feet, it can do 100 inches or whatever. But it can go all the way up to like 25 feet and still do, you know, it's adjustable. There is so much more stuff that has come out in projectors since the last time that I have it. This one has Bluetooth, so I don't have to have speaker wires. I can just Bluetooth it over to my speaker. So really, after the whole outdoor theater setup, the only wire that I'm going to have is the power cable that goes to the projector. Because the new Chromecast is going to plug right into this, and then it's going to be beaming its Bluetooth audio to my speakers. So it's so much easier than it used to be.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's what I'm saying now.
Yeah, we'll see. Then you put it
see.
together, and you always run into little things.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I am excited about it, man. Dude, summer night movies, especially with the movies on the DL. Sam, of all people, the person that fucking yells at me for doing too much podcasting and gaming and all that, she's like, why don't you guys do movies on DL every week? So, that might be a thing, guys.
Well, wow. I don't know, man. It's a lot of work getting those ones out.
Hopefully, when I go visit, I can actually see this whole outside setup.
That was a lot of the selling point of why. Like, so I kept bringing it up, and she's like, and I was like, yeah, my mom and Nick are both coming in April. They might be here at the same time. It might be nice to have an outdoor theater, wouldn't you think? She's like, just fucking order it already. So we put ourselves in debt. All right, moving on.
Before we talk about more stuff, I want to talk a little bit about last week. Last week we talked about a bunch of stuff, and I think we got a lot of. We didn't really get like listener mail. We don't really get that, but people will like sometimes message me after an episode regarding something that was said.
Oh boy!
And I was surprised to find out that apparently a lot of people are playing Second Life. We kind of wrote it off like Second Life, that game. Who remembers that? But that's is or was and continues to be a big deal for a lot of people who would put a lot of time into that game. And I saw some pictures of it. I like looked up some videos and stuff. Like it looks a lot better than what I remember. But apparently people are really they're still out there playing that game.
Are you gonna
wait? How
are
many
you
people
announcing that
messaged
you're
you?
gonna be playing it?
What's that?
Are you announcing that you're gonna be playing it? next week?
No, dude. Because it's
13 years old. It's right up your alley, dude.
well, yeah, it's an old game, but it's like, wow, they continue to update it. But the thing is, it's a Second Life. It's
Right.
not, it's designed to take up a lot of your time. And no, I can't do that, man. Absolutely no way.
And there's
How many people messaged you? How many?
I talked to 2 people.
Okay, I talked to one person. Did anyone talk? I just want to see how many psychos listen to this podcast.
I did not. No,
I don't know. I didn't have anybody
because
message me.
I think they reached out to Bobby because like it sounded like he was defending the game, and I was like shitting all over it. So maybe that's why.
They're like,
Maybe.
Bobby is the pantheon of our Second Life. He understands our plight.
Well, I'll tell you
I
that. Go ahead.
I think you had a good idea, Bobby. Like, I think it would be interesting to talk to someone who is playing Second Life and ask them kind of why, like, what's up, what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Give us the scoop.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
for
with
sure.
a game like that, yeah. So if you play Second Life and you want to talk about it on the podcast, and because we can't play Second Life for a week and then come back here and talk about it like we
Right.
know anything about it, right?
We have 13 years of
Yeah.
Emilio's like, I got remarried. I have a second mortgage, 2 kids.
Not just that, dude. Like, I know that you come on the podcast because you play Second Life. Like, I know you have time, for sure.
Totally.
But also, people were talking to me about Star Citizen. A lot of people were very excited to hear that I was playing Star Citizen.
Did you play more?
A little bit, but right now I'm really just trying to figure out the technical issues because I'm getting a lot of lag on it. I'm getting some weird graphic stuff. I never have these problems, and I'm always like secretly annoyed when other people do. You know, when you're trying to play co-op and someone's like, "Oh, well, my game's crashing." I'm like, "Well, you figure that shit out. I'm gonna go play games." So I usually have very little sympathy for people who say that, but here I am in that situation. But Star Citizen is a beast, I found out. Like, people have way better hardware than I do, and they still have a lot of frame rate drops. They've got a tool built in to analyze your computer and tell you like how well it's going to be at running this game. And I'm not really that far down, so I should be able to do it. So I don't know. I got to do a little Googling, research it some, but I want to get it up and running. And then, yeah, that'd be a good game, I think, to stream too. There might be some Star Citizen streaming in the future. We'll see as I figure this out.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
I think one thing that I wanted to put out there, if anyone wants to take part in me and Sniper playing squad like once or twice a week, we might make it an actual thing. There's like 9 people squads, so we can fit quite a few people in a group, and we saw what we could do with just 2 people from the podcast. Me and Sniper managed to kill. It was actually mostly just me. 21 people. We were in an armored personnel carrier, and Sniper was the driver, and I was the gunner. And I'm not gonna lie, Sniper got us stuck twice. We had to have some help getting us out of there. But Emilio watched, and he's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And then he just sees me mowing guys down from like 800 yards away. And he's like, "Oh, this seems like super fun." And he's like, "What is this?" And we're like, "Squad." He's like, "Wait, those are real people?" And we're like, "Yep." And this is one of those games. I know I talked about it last time, like where when you know people and you're playing, the game is ultra fun. And even if you don't know people and you're playing, you still have a lot of fun. So if anyone owns Squad and wants to play, probably around like I want to say like 8 p.m. after 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or after 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, hit us up on the Discord. We're most likely going to be available to play with you guys. So yeah,
I had a lot of fun, Nick. Thank you for showing me how fun Squad could be with just one other person to communicate with instead of in a random squad. But I do want to offer one correction. I didn't get us stuck. I got us tactically entrenched.
yeah.
That's that's the term. So
Another thing is like this game is always continuing to surprise me with its free updates. So when I first played, there was two factions, the Americans and the Russians. Now they have the Americans, the Brits, the Canadians, the Australians, a Eastern European inspired militia group, a Middle Eastern inspired like insurgent group, and the Russians. And so like and this thing called the Middle Eastern Alliance group, which is kind of like a formalized army. Which when we played, it was pretty funny because the first match we got into, we were forced to play that army, and we were like, we have the weirdest guns. Like we have guns that were like made in 1980, and that's not to say like guns from back then. Like we're still using the M16, which is like made in the 1960s, but like we were using guns. We're like, why do we have G3s and like and things like this? And then I usually play something called the Hat, which is a heavy anti-tank guy. And it was Sniper's idea. He's like, dude, why don't we jump in a truck? We'll ride around and we'll hunt tanks. And we did so much work, but our team ended up just losing because we really didn't help out the team all that much, even though we took out like a spawn point for the enemy team. But we ended up destroying like 2 tanks, as well as a helicopter, a couple of logistics vehicles, all because we just decided to run around in a little like Toyota Tacoma and just with RPGs.
And not just that, but I think what really affected you guys' score is Sniper. How many times did you get stuck in rocks?
I got us tactically entrenched twice, and I've denied the enemy advantage to.
Yeah, you can't be attacked from the side that the rock is inside of your vehicle, right?
I just got to say, dude, Sniper, that joke played way better when Emilio was here. It must be so weird for people like listening who aren't watching because Emilio left the room. He was gone for that whole conversation. Sniper made the same joke with the tactically entrenched. You're like, and then Emilio comes in, he makes the same joke, lights up the room.
You need your support people. You guys are like dead sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not the best crowd here. This game looks cool though. I really like this game. It's just so damn expensive. What is it, like $50?
Yeah, I've actually seen it down to $12.
I'll put it on the wish list. See how low it goes during the next sale.
I think you can get like on average throughout the year, it's like $24.
Oh, that's good.
This is one of those games, like,
is what it is right now.
If this is like a game that Battlefield strives to be in the sense of like how fun it is, like Battlefield is too silly. Like the fact that I can shoot somebody 18 times with like a 7.62 cartridge and they don't die is ridiculous. But like in this game, you shoot somebody like once or twice in the chest and they're dead. And so it's all about communication. It's all about working together. It's all about positioning and stuff like that. It's not too serious because you like I said earlier, you still get guys that are like running around on motorcycles or like Toyota Tacomas with RPGs and grenade launchers and stuff like that. But, you find the fun in the little things in this game.
Mm-hmm. They got a name for that. I don't remember what it is. It's like Time to Kill or something.
It's TTD, Time to Death, or TTK, or Time to Kill. Either one.
I don't know, man. Like I understand there's a push for realism, and some people really like that. I've always loved the Battlefield series. I've played them forever, and I always preferred them over Call of Duty because there's a little more strategy to them, and and yeah, just more strategy to them. But I did like the fact that it wasn't one shot, one kill, because that I never do well in those types of games. They're a little too hardcore for me. So I don't know.
This game isn't really too much one shot, one kill. Like I said, it's usually 2 or 3 bullets, but the thing is, like, the recoil is realistic. So like if you shoot like with an AK, your gun's gonna climb up. If you're shooting full auto, like the really weird thing about this game and like Battlefield and stuff like that, like it is like your average distance of engagement. Like normally in Battlefield, they're like, especially in Call of Duty, like your average distance of engagement, I think, is like 4 meters, which is like ridiculous. That's in real war, you would pretty much never be that close unless you were kicking down doors in like a city or something.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. And I mean, realism doesn't necessarily equal good, though.
Right.
And I feel like we make that mistake a lot. But I don't like playing games where I get sniped in the toe from 1,000 yards off and I'm dead and I got to wait 45 seconds to respawn. It's really aggravating.
It doesn't have that much of it unless you're coming down a mountain and Nick's on the other side of the tank. That's like the only time.
Dude, bodies were flying, dude. That's how you know they're dead. They flop. And they're like...
I ended up getting a message from somebody that was like, why'd you leave? I was like, I don't know. There's one hole in that whole situation, which was Sniper got no points for being the driver at all.
Yeah, but points are worth nothing in the game. Like in some points you get, in some games you get progression and stuff for the points. But I think the good thing about this game is I didn't get any points, but did it really matter? Like I still had fun. Yeah. And I get nothing from the points.
Well, how do they determine who wins? Is there a ticket system like
Battlefield? There's a ticket system. So, for example, like a tank is worth like 30 tickets. So if you blow up an enemy tank, like not an armored personnel carrier, but like a tank that we're seeing on screen right now, you blow up one of those tanks, it's like killing 30 people. Some servers have that modified. So like people are more cautious about using tanks, or like they'll use it a little bit more in a realism sense where they'll have like infantry around the tank, which is how we operate in real life. Like if you're in like in a urban area, you usually have like 8 or 10 guys around a tank to make sure nobody gets like, too close to it.
There's like huge extremes in first person multiplayers, right? So like on one side you have, I think Arma is probably the most technical, or maybe
that I would say that is the most try hard in game trying to be realistic, because it really is like you get shot once in the toe and you're dead.
And then on the other side you have like totally accurate fucking battle royale simulator, right? Which is just cartoons running around fighting each other. And then like there's 100 games in between. And then you just kind of have to find what level of realism versus arcadianism that's right for you. And this one seems to be good for a lot of people.
Yeah. And like I said, if anyone in the community, anyone in the Discord wants to play, just let us know. We'll definitely play. I'll even be like squad leader, which is like the pariah of positions, because of the fact that the squad leader has to issue orders and stuff, and like they have to tell people to build stuff. And it's not really a fighting role, but I'll shit. If anyone on the Discord wants to play, I'll do it. I don't care.
Okay, really quick before we move on, really quick. So I'm playing this game for the first time in like a year, and everyone's making me be the squad leader for like 4 or 5 games in a row. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It's like hot potato. No one wants to be the squad leader. So everyone waits till one unlucky person makes a squad, and then they all join that one.
Yeah, that's pretty much the dynamic. Is like, usually all the squad leaders are people that like are either super try hard, like, are you guys gonna follow my orders? Or they're like a new person that's like, I don't know how to squad lead. They're like, well, this is where you find out, bud.
And then there's a commander, right? Or there's
squad leaders and there's commanders. And so the commander has the ability to call in like almost like kill streaks, as weird as that sounds, but it's not what they do, it's what the team does. So they can call like an A10 Warthog like strafing run, which absolutely destroys any tank in the game, no matter how much like they're armored. But like you can also call in like artillery strikes, and you can even be like a mortarman. So it gets pretty crazy.
The commander can only speak to squad leaders, right? Like I that's what I picked up from the audio.
Yeah, so the commander can speak to his squad as well as squad leaders. He can't speak to anyone else unless he's like 2 feet away from them.
Oh, I see.
Because there's proximity voice chat, and which is always fun to mess with. Because you can scare the fuck out of people by talking in proximity voice chat, but it's definitely like just the way some of the technical things work in the game as far as like voice chat and things like that. It's always great.
It's always been on my wish list too. I just haven't pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
And the other thing is like multiplayer is tough for me these days because like, Emilio, the house is on fire, and I gotta walk away, and I kind of feel more for my squad mates than I do the room that's on fire. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel bad when I walk away from people online. Except for JP Diddy, he understands. I just walk away.
He understands.
Sometimes I don't tell him that I walk away. I just walk away, come back. Bobby, the Eternal Cylinder.
The Eternal Cylinder. So I played that this week. This is the new game coming from Ace Team. It is open or early beta right now, closed. So I signed up for it a long time ago.
Yeah.
I got a key for it. It's open until the 25th. Finally got a chance to play it. Good stuff here. I wasn't sure because it's a survival game, and I don't like those for the most part. So I was a little worried about that. But what this does is it sections off the survival element to it. So you play this little creature called a trebum. It looks like Cubert, basically, little creature with a big old nose. You go around and you vacuum stuff up with your nose, and then you can eat it, or some of the stuff gives you special abilities that you can then use, like either jump high or, some of them are just cosmetic. They make you look cool. But you explore around like this very rich, surreal environment. Looks very, very Picasso or very Salvador Dali. Kind of reminds me of Xenoclash, one of their other games. Beautiful environment. You go rolling and jumping around there, you find things, and then you move on to another section, and the cylinder rolls and is rolling over the environment, just like a clothespin or what's the thing? I don't cook. That thing when you make cookies.
Rolling pin.
Rolling pin.
A rolling
not
pin?
A clothespin. A rolling pin. Yeah. It's like a rolling pin that's just going over the earth, chasing you the entire time. Now it stops at certain sections, and then you go and you explore that little area and you do whatever you want to do there. Then when you're done, you trigger the big rolling pin by going or by passing a certain area, and then it chases you for a little bit. So it's very interesting. It's a survival game, but it's not completely open world. It's like a little bit of the world at a time. So you get
it's open world, but you can't go left because there's that big fucking thing.
Yeah, you can't run behind you. You can only go one direction. No, I didn't play that far into this. I have no idea how long this game is, so I have no idea how far I'm into it. Maybe that changes later. But as you progress, they start introducing more survival mechanics. Okay, well, you need to balance your water, your food. You need to use other animals in the environment to open up these certain eggs that you can eat. And there's a dust you can use, and you can collect more trebums as you're going out there. So you build this little herd. And these guys are pretty cute, too. They're like little squeak toys. So you're leading this herd out there, and you can switch between them, give certain abilities. So at times you're like, okay, let me switch to my jumping guy, or let me switch to the other guy who can do this.
Because you're trying to get your species to survive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the whole time, here's what's really cool about this game that I didn't expect. They've got a narrator, like they do in Bastion or a lot of other games. And it's this old guy, very Deckard Cain-ish, and he's just narrating the entire time and telling you about your species, and you're kind of like the last hope. It's one of those situations. But beautiful environment. I love the creatures, like just these weird creatures that have like mouths and eyes in weird places. It's great. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the full release of this game.
How Spore-esque is it, Bobby? Did you play Spore?
I played a little bit of Spore.
I need you to play Spore.
Yeah, I should check that out. I think I have that. I think I bought like the whole pack on Steam.
Oh, yeah. Really.
It's not as much of that as I thought it would be, but maybe that's later in the game when you really get a lot more abilities and you need to divide them up into your different trebums. It's a little difficult though because
what is that?
Yeah, there's some crazy looking monsters in this. Just weird stuff.
Wow.
So I was running from the cylinder one time. I had triggered the thing where the cylinder's coming after me. I got to run to the next area, and one of my Trebums just got left behind or something. He got smashed by the rolling pin.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
whole deal, right?
Well, and he had one of the abilities that the other Trebum didn't have. So I was like, crap. Okay. I mean, you are able to find it again, but it's just
We're gonna need another Timmy.
yeah. But it's good. I'm happy with this. You know, for a survival game, I'm enjoying it, and I like. You know, I've always said this. I've been saying it for a long time. If you're going to do a survival game now in 2020 and 2021, you got to do something different, right? Yeah. Like you got to throw something in there, and I think this game has some different things. I like the way that they divide it up into sections, and I absolutely love the visual style, and the story with the narrator is a really nice touch. So it's looking good, man.
I'm glad it's looking good, dude, because this was a big risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so weird that, like, you know, it could turn some people off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty out there. But, I mean, we'll see how it does. Other than Rock of Ages, I don't know if a lot of their other games, like, sell, like, a ton of copies. They aren't a AAA developer. You know, they must be successful because they keep doing it, you know, and I don't know. I've just always liked this. I interviewed him a long time ago, maybe over a year ago, I think. And
do they develop from there, Bobby? From
Chile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably got to keep costs super low, dude.
Yeah,
And
probably.
so,
Yeah, it's three brothers working out of Chile. And they work in a wide variety of games, and there's always something very interesting about their games. Like there's always these weird little hooks to them that I really enjoy. And it was one of my favorite interviews to do. It was the interview that I wanted to do for the longest time because
maybe you can get the other brothers and start on interview and make them talk shit about each other.
It was hard enough to get the one. Yeah.
Nick, we told you last time to play Deadly Tower of Monsters. I think you should check it out, man. You can play
Deadly Tower of Monsters.
Yeah, that's one of the.
That's
games.
a good one. That's a good one that I'd recommend to a lot of people. I really liked Xenoclash, but it's a little dated now, and I don't think a lot of people would enjoy it. I even liked Abyssal Odyssey. That one wasn't too popular, but I enjoyed that game.
It's kind of like Mustard. Like I love Mustard, but I can see how a lot of people don't like Mustard. You know what I mean? That's how I feel like about Xenoclash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
you can
Xenoclash
understand
did some.
how some people don't. Like
Yeah, and it's tough because it's dated, and they had that whole lock-on element, which you never really saw in PC games way back then, or even gaming in general. And it was melee combat, and they had this bizarre story with bizarre characters. It's just this far-out world, but it didn't seem forced. It actually all seemed to work, and that's what I was really kind of taken up with. But I always recommend their games, and I'm sure a lot of people have played Rock of Ages, but I'd encourage you to check out some of the other stuff they do.
So Loop Hero, it's almost like impossible not to talk about it. It's one of these kind of like breakout PC indie games right now. I read that they sold 500,000 copies, and they are promising new classes and cards. Let me get into what it is. If you take a look at it, I talk shit about it, about its graphics, right? Most of the graphics are not bad. Like when they're telling stories or anything, but the actual gameplay looks pretty decent. It's pretty good 8-bit graphics. It's once you're doing your loop that for some reason everything, the graphics go down a few notches, and it just kind of looks like a really, really old game. But that's not what the game's about. I can spout a bunch of things that this game has. It's got cards. It's got a card system. It's
really hot right now, card systems.
Yeah, it's a roguelike. It's an RPG. You know, but that is not what it's like. Like a lot of times I'll review a game and I'll be like, oh, this is a roguelike RPG deck builder. And I'll just be like, there you go. That's what the game is. But that's not what this game is. The reason that this game, I think, it has something completely new going on that I've never seen before. So you're a little dude, and you go around the circle. It's a loop. As you go around, you kill these slimes. That's a very base bad guy, right? Very like Dungeon or Dragon Quest. As you kill them, you get both cards and loot, but the loot's not very good, and the cards are really weird stuff. It's like mountains or prairies or a vampire's house, like just these like location things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you get to see where on the loop you could put these down. So you'll start putting mountains down, right? As you put mountains down, every mountain you put down, you get 5% more HP. Cool. So you just start putting mountains in this one area, whatever. And then you might get prairies. Prairies give you some other buff. And so you start laying those down. But what you don't know is that both mountains and prairies, once you get to a certain level, start spawning. Like too many mountains, you start getting goblins. But that's okay too, because you want bad guys. You want to kill bigger and bigger baddies so that you get better and better loot. But you are crafting the enemies as you go. You're crafting the loop. It's not going to get harder than you want it to get, but you're not going to really achieve unless you're pushing yourself. So you look at your gear, you see where you're at, and then you're like, okay, can I take a vampire plus some wolves? Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to set that up in this corner. I'm going to make sure that I'm ready for that when I get there. And if I survive that, hopefully I get some better loot and some more cards. So you just keep building this loop up and up and up. So I got a bunch of mountains now. Goblins have spawned. I've got vampires over here. I got zombies over here. I got skeletons over here. Holy shit, this is maybe a little more than I bit off. I bit off more than I could chew. And now you start getting scared because your character is only so strong based on what you... It's so strange, dude. Like, I've never played a game like this. So now I've built up too much opposition. And there's a few cards that'll get you out of that. Like, there's this Oblivion card that blows up anything that you've already built in case you don't think you'll complete the loop. Now, the reason you're doing all of this is to get resources. Once you get resources, you go back to your campsite, you go back to town, and you build up the town. Once you build up the town, that's the roguelike part of it, you get abilities for your character, which makes you better at going around the loop. So it's like this whole gameplay loop between looping and then spending what you earned on that. But you have to make sure that you make the loop to get out, to go back to town, to spend the resources. If you die during the loop, you don't get any of that. Does that make any sense?
So it lets you set your difficulty by making the loop as difficult as you want it to be.
Yeah. And there's synergies too. There's oppositional synergies. Not like Binding of Isaac where I get this thing and plus this thing, I can shoot lasers and ninja stars. No, this is like I'll put werewolves next to vampires. That way the vampires can feed off the werewolves. They'll be stronger and I'll get better loot off of them. But then I can put a light tower near both of these and make sure that I attack faster so that I can cover that area. So it's a lot of like space management, not inventory management, but like micromanaging how powerful you are versus what you can handle versus how far you want to push it. Risk versus reward. It's really interesting. I probably did a terrible job of explaining it, but like I will say this.
I think you did a pretty good job.
After a couple of loops, I was eating dinner and I was like thinking about Loop Hero. Like I'm thinking, well, I could do this and I could do that, and that's what you want out of a lot of these games. Well, that's what I want out of games a lot of the time.
Wow. Yeah, usually the games that are the hardest to explain are really good because they're doing stuff differently or they're doing new things that other games haven't. Yeah, this looks like it's doing very well, selling a lot of copies, getting really good reviews.
Yep.
I might have to check this out.
Yeah, it's very
as long as you don't explain it like your like 7-year-old nephew that's like, and then there's monsters, and then there's chickens. And
I've done those, dude.
It's pretty good.
I've done those.
44,000 people playing the game right now, this moment.
That's pretty good.
Does can you play this game in small chunks though, or is it a long time commitment once you sit down?
What's that?
Can you play this game in small chunks, or is it a long time commitment when you sit down?
I think you can save mid loop, so you can like be because you make the loop, you make your I don't know. I'm just gonna throw up a number seventh loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, can I make an eighth loop, or is this when I have to go home? Like, should I do it now? But it's exponential, right? Every loop you make so much more because everything's so much more difficult.
Yeah.
So it's up to you, really. You can end your adventure after one loop every time, but you're going to be building up the village super fucking slow, if at all.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as playing the game, like sitting in front of your computer, if you sit down to play this game, are you going to be stuck there for a while, or is it something that requires long periods of playing?
I feel like you can make a good amount of progress in an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if that holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
I love
Luke,
games that make me think outside of the game,
Mm-hmm.
So I know this is a little off topic, however, because
Not for
I'm
you,
not on the-
dude. Not for you.
I got to mention something about Warhammer every week. That's my job. That's why I'm here, right? That's why they hired me.
That's not why we hired you. But
That's why they paid me $10 an hour. What do you call it? Major announcements were made. I actually mentioned it in the Discord because there's a couple of people that not only just like Warhammer but like good animation and good CGI and stuff like that. Warhammer announced that they picked up 4 different independent studios from YouTube to make official content for them. And so one of the animations that they picked, which is like critically acclaimed to being arguably the best piece of fan-made content, let alone company-made content, and it was all made by one person, is Astartes, which is about this essentially fan-made group of space marines, and they go on this cool quest, and it's like an hour. I mean, it's like not even an hour long. It's like 35 minutes long. It took like 2 years to make. And now that this guy has a studio behind him, and now that he has money behind him, and he's having people helping him, we're gonna see some crazy shit coming from this guy. They're putting all these studios on payroll. We've seen this. If you look on screen right now, you see something called this is the Exodite. That's an animation that features the Tau as the main characters, which has never been seen before, and it's just as a fan of CGI and as a fan of animation, and as a Warhammer fan, all 3 of them just look amazing. So,
dude,
be ready to see just so much new shit coming from the Warhammer universe as far as animation goes.
how great is it when you're like a super fan and you dedicate yourself to this, and one day you get the call, dude. You get the call from the big boys upstairs. It's just people, dude. It's just people, and those people were impressed with your shit, and they give you a call. It's fucking amazing, dude.
Well, so like someone did the math on the Warhammer subreddit. It was like how many cumulative views the Astartes projects has compared to people re-uploading it all as one video, people doing reaction videos, and it's upwards of like over 250 million views or something like that, which for like any animation is crazy high. Yeah. And like when it's been like streamed on Twitter and Twitch and all that kind of stuff, and it's just one guy that did it. And like I said, like now that there's money behind him, now that there's like people behind him, I think we're going to see some cool stuff. And this may play into the fact that we're getting a Warhammer TV show, which is about an Inquisitor, but and everyone's hoping that Mads Mikkelsen plays him. But I think we're going to see a lot more like popular media referencing Warhammer and stuff like that, just because we've just seen like the CGI that they made for the new edition of the game got like over 1 million views. So yeah, I definitely welcome it.
Next, talking about it penetrating popular media, I told you earlier that there was a Easter egg in The Last of Us 2. So you go into this one apartment, and it's one of the more, it stands out more than the other apartments just because like there's a safe in it and a couple other things. But you go into this room, and this guy has a model painting set, dude. He has like, and this is not an asset that's used throughout the game. There's literally one instance of it. It's the magnifying glass. It's definitely a Space Marine. There's a few like painting utensils and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's a cool little shout out for somebody.
Oh yeah, no, there's been ones like in the Binding of Isaac when you play as like a companion, you can be a little like a little Space Marine baby. You can also be like a Chaos Space Marine baby, so it's pretty cool.
I never realized what those were until now that you're talking about it. I'm like, oh, that's what those are.
So yeah, if you notice, Sniper is clicking through the guy's YouTube channel. They took down all of his videos.
Oh yeah, because now they're his.
And they're re-uploading them to their own website. But you can still find it on YouTube. You can look up Astartes 1-5. But dude, it is such good animation.
Cool. That's good. That's awesome, man.
All right, it's time for listener questions. Before we do that, thank you, Captain Gummy, subscribing for 14 months.
Thanks, buddy.
Long
time.
Why
are you Captain Gummy 2?
Thank you.
Is there another one?
Quite possibly. Also, we missed one last week. Burn Division was subscribing for 15 months.
Thanks, homie. That's better than 12 months. Get your shit together, Gummy.
Well, he's at 14 months.
Never mind.
He's only one behind.
Doesn't matter. Get your shit together. I need you to go in the future and somehow catch up.
All right, first listener question coming from Cubic Zirconia. Just added movies on the DL to my feed or to my podcast app. Looking forward to more content from you guys. Have you considered creating a new show strictly for Nick's Warhammer talk? He could do 90 minutes a week.
Nick?
I don't know. I can do 90 minutes.
There's Warhammer podcasts out there, I'm sure, right?
Oh, dude, there's like not only Warhammer podcasts, but just like Warhammer. There's people that make hour-long Warhammer videos on just like theories. It's like next time on the next book, what might happen? And they just go off. Mm-hmm. And there's people that talk about like the blood color of the Tau because their blood is cobalt based and it's blue on this planet because there's the oxygens in the air. And like
that is my nightmare.
It gets so crazy.
Hey Nick, I know that you infused Warhammer into our D&D session, but obviously somebody must have made a D&D rules onto Warhammer, right? It's been done.
Yes, so there is an official Warhammer, essentially D&D that people play. That's like Warhammer 40K. Warhammer Fantasy, like the stuff that we're playing, exists kind of. It's Warhammer Age of Sigmar, which not many people like. There's people that play it, but when we played D&D, I took a little bit of like assets and like storytelling from the like Warhammer Total War Warhammer, which is like Warhammer Old Fantasy.
Oh, gotcha.
But people have made full rule sets for like just certain races from that game, like Dark Elf and stuff like that.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, who knows, man? Maybe in the future we can have more types of podcasts under the Digital Logic brand.
Star Wars.
Shut up, nerd.
Yeah, I feel like there's more content in Warhammer. Well, I don't know. Star Wars is a vast universe, I guess, too. And I'm not familiar with Warhammer 40K, but it just seems like there's so many books, so many games, just so many things in that universe. But Star Wars is, God, yeah, there's so much in that as well.
One thing I will say about the books and like the story and stuff like that, because Games Workshop never wants to say that something is not canon. Like the way they have said that things have changed because they're retelling the OG story of Warhammer, which is the Horus Heresy, which is like really when we're first introduced into Warhammer 40K. And they're doing like a retelling and they're rewriting a bunch of the books and they're changing some stuff and they're putting more details in certain things. But they're like, oh, the previous books and videos and comics and and storytelling are, they may be real. They may be just imaginations or dreams and things like that. So,
yeah, I feel like we're post-canon these days. Like there was a whole conversation many years ago, especially when Star Wars was coming out with their new movies, their new Skywalker trilogy or whatever. And everyone was like, well, this isn't canon anymore, but that's canon. And like, oh, these are now considered canon. It's like, and I don't know if you could really play that game anymore, because ultimately people are going to make whatever sells. And, the canon thing is just stuff for nerds on the internet to argue about. If it sells and it's popular, then it's going to be accepted. And it's like we were talking about Ninja Turtles earlier in the show. Like a lot of people were upset because there was some like remake of the Ninja Turtles. They've remade it so many times, but there was some cartoon or some like direct-to-DVD movie or something where the turtles came from space, and people were super upset. Like, well, actually, if you go all the way back, that's the original story from them. And and it's just, and the thing is, it doesn't matter. It just really doesn't matter. It's just, I don't know. I feel like we're at a time now where we can tell whatever stories we want. We don't have to be too concerned like, oh, this doesn't lock into place with all this other stuff that I've wasted my life memorizing.
I do.
Bobby,
I gotta
you're
disagree.
wrong.
Yeah, I gotta.
Why are you so wrong?
I gotta disagree, dude. Because like, whoever owns the IP, right, is the official word about what actually happens with the story. Now, if you want to get together with your friends and talk about the actual story, you have to go with what's canon.
I like how we have Nick's typing in the background. It sounds like someone furiously repudiating what I said. Like the internet
this
nerds,
motherfucker.
the Cheeto dust is flying on the keyboard.
I'm sweating over here, dude. I'm signing in my other Twitch account just to yell at Bobby. Like, you don't even know, man.
I know. I know what I said is not a popular opinion, and that's really just where I'm at. I know. I am, but
we are in a post-canon.
I am in a post.
There you go. No, everything's okay.
Because I don't really care anymore. I feel like I will, if you tell any story in any universe, if it's good, I'll probably like it. If it's not good, then I won't like it. I'm not concerned about what happened in the previous movie or the book or something 30 years ago in a movie that doesn't fit with something else. I don't know. There's just so much
life
stuff.
was so simple, dude. If only it was so simple.
What was weird
I was in the grocery store with my Grogu mask, and the girl at the counter says, "Oh, nice. You like Star Wars?" I say, "Yeah." She says, "I like Star Wars too, except the new movies. They broke canon." And I was like, "Whoa, what?"
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, interesting.
Which I agree with. Like, I kind of agree. I agree with. Like, it's worth. I don't know. It is kind of a waste of time, like any fantasy hobby or any book series you get into, but. On the other hand, they chose to go in a direction that wasn't what a lot of people wanted to go with. And I think it's legitimate for people to be kind of upset by that.
I get what you're saying, Bobby, because like canon basically means money making versus like non-canon, which is like fan fiction that doesn't really make money. Mm-hmm. So it's like, are we arguing about the part that makes money versus the part that doesn't make money? I guess that's
well, as a fan or an audience member, whether or not it makes money doesn't really matter, I suppose.
No, but I'm telling you, like, that's what does make money. I mean, we're talking about billions versus like a couple grand.
Yeah. But the thing is, canon changes too. Like it's like an ever evolving thing. So I don't know. It just seems like
disillusioned? I feel like
it seems like such a loose term. Well, Marvel started the whole trend with
canon
a lot of
means
this.
Official. That's all that means.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, officially sanctioned by the creator or owner.
And you have 8 authors going in 8 different directions. One has to be official, and that's what canon is.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe, and this is maybe just me, stepping outside of the matrix. But does it matter which one's official? Doesn't it just matter which one you like?
No, it does. Because
so we can all join under one banner under the internet.
No, because when you're talking to somebody,
cast out the infidels who don't follow the official Star Wars chronology.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You're on the right track.
Because if you're a fan,
okay, because Chewbacca did not get crushed by a planet.
Yeah,
is that what's going on?
If we were both fans, we can't have a conversation unless we're talking about the same thing. And we can't talk about the same thing unless we're both talking canon or both talking non-canon. Yeah. Which author are you talking about? I'm talking about this other author where clearly Luke has 17 children. So like we can't even have a conversation unless, as fans of the same thing, unless we agree that we're talking about the same thing. That's why canon is important.
Okay. You're not convincing me, but I respect your opinion.
Thank you.
I find it funny, too, that Marvel really started this trend, and they did it with comic books, which is bananas, because comic books are known for just being... Don't they have, like, comic books where Superman's in the USSR or something, and they have these, like, comic books that go in completely different directions or something, and they're known for just going on these wild directions, but...
Yeah, but usually those like one-offs and stuff like that are mentioned to be one-offs, or like they're said to be one-offs and things like that.
Yeah, so everybody feels safe.
So everybody's in their little like, okay, this is in universe 747. We're in universe 6112, so this is not official.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Marvel's like we know that we're in like 612.
Yeah, I know. I feel like canon is a safety word for a lot of people. Like, don't worry, it's not canon.
I think you need it. You need it for the fans, Bobby. And for making billions of dollars.
If the next piece is referencing the last piece, then for that to work, there has to be like, I don't really care if there's multiple storylines. Like I kind of like the way Star Wars did it, where it's like, this is like a Legends storyline and this is like the movie storyline. And you can enjoy both kind of side by side.
Yeah, well, no, I have no problem with like multiple storylines, like certain books following each other, certain movies following each other. But I just think it's kind of weird to say, okay, well, this one's official. This is the official one. That one is not official.
You have to, or we can't have a conversation.
When Chewbacca died from the moon, that's official.
What does official mean, though?
How are we going to have a conversation, Bobby?
Because I can just say, I'm referencing this storyline. Let's talk about this one. You say, well,
I don't know that one because it's written by...
Well, your brain is big enough
on the fucking dark web, dude.
You're able to understand that there are multiple storylines, and this one lines up with these, and this one lines up with those.
I don't have time to be going down every fucking rabbit hole.
You're not getting tested on this. This is not...
I want to geek out with you. You're stopping me from geeking out with you, Bobby.
No, we can geek out. We just don't have to get caught up on what's official and what isn't.
We have to, because you're reading fucking blog posts and I'm watching Marvel fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, this is the last thing I'll say about this.
Are we on Movies on DL? This should have all been on Movies on DL.
Yeah.
Clip that shit, put it on that other podcast that we have.
Never. Yeah. Fuck it.
Oh, that's ridiculous. They did a Chewbacca statue.
All right. Next question coming from Warconius. What's the worst thing you've done in order to spend time playing a game? For example, lying about being sick or murdering a homeless person. I don't know how that second one would lead to playing a game. I've never called in sick to work to play a game. Never done that.
I've never called in sick to work, but I pretended to be sick
to
play WoW when I was a kid.
I feel like what? Nick?
I said I never pretended to be sick from work or anything to play games, but when I was a kid, I used to pretend to be sick to play Call of Duty and WoW.
I don't know.
The way I used to do it was pretty bad too. Like I would fill my mouth up with hot water, and when my mom would take my temperature, it would take the temperature of the water.
Smart.
And then as soon as I saw that it was like 102 degrees, I would tip the thermometer from the water to like the roof of my mouth, and since the number can't go down, it would just go off, and my mom would be like, "All right, I guess you are sick, so get in bed."
Does she know about this? Should I give her a call?
No, but she's gonna find out later, like in like 3 weeks.
No, I'm gonna call her tonight. That's my sister, by the way. His mom is my sister. It doesn't really fall into the same thing, but when I had a relationship with this girl, I also had severe addiction to Everquest. So I talked about this before. I've had sex while playing Everquest. I've had blowjobs, arguments, all while playing Everquest. Like, she was very understanding for the time. You know what I mean?
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Like, we would be arguing about other things. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, I can't. Oh, she started playing too. So that
Oh,
definitely
okay. There
helped.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I ruined a relationship with WoW, but that relationship wasn't going anywhere anyway. WoW just kind of accelerated it a little bit. It was very obvious that was the priority. But I've never, and I don't think there's really anything wrong with that. Like maybe calling in sick, maybe like it depends on your job. It depends on so many other things. Yeah. I mean. But if you were like, hey, new expansion of WoW's coming out and I'm going to use a week vacation or something, I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, what are vacations for? But
I've done that. I've done that before where I've taken like 2 or 3 days off of work to play WoW.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't done a lot of sneaky things to be able to play video games. All right, next question from Hogglefosh. Have you peaked? Why or why not? Do you think peaking is unavoidable?
I guess I'll answer that first since I'm the youngest. I would say no. I don't think I have peaked. I think there's a lot of things that I want to do. I think peaking is where I guess you would say you would have the most amount of fun in a certain period of time, but I don't know. Everyone has their own definition of peaking. I think if you were to tell me I peaked, I would probably say, if I ever did stand-up comedy, that would be like selling out like a theater or something.
I would say it all depends on what what graph you're charting, right? So physically, yeah, I definitely peaked whenever the fuck that was. That happened. I don't think I can ever be as fit or as strong as I was in the past. That's done. Have I peaked as a family man? Probably not. Like, I have a lot of parenting ahead of me. Like right now, we're just keeping her alive. In the future, I gotta make her a good human, and that's really important. So, if I do a good job of that, then maybe I peaked at that. Have I peaked as a podcaster? Probably, because I have less. See, right now, I said I have way more less. I have less brain cells than I did when I started. So I probably have peaked as a podcaster. So it all depends. I definitely peaked as a gamer, for sure. I am terrible at video games now, but I still enjoy the fuck out of them. That's what's important. So it all depends on what graph you're charting.
Yeah, I don't know. In general, I got to say no, man. I'm still climbing.
I haven't seen the best of you, Bobby.
Nope, not yet, man.
God, I can't wait.
I can't wait to see best Bobby.
Well, here's the thing. Like
I'm gonna order a bottle of lube just to have here, just in case you peak one day. And I'm ready.
I think this episode peaked. But if you were to talk to me 3 or 4 years ago, I would probably say, "Yep, best days are behind me." But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like a year ago today. Okay, we're like a year out from this pandemic, right? And I never thought physically I would be in as good a shape as I was then a year ago. I haven't been keeping up with working out that much. I kind of keep up with nothing like I was. But I was shocked. So, just because you get older, I wouldn't write it off. But you're right. Like you do start new journeys. You have kids, and that takes you down a very different path, and your priorities change. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think a lot of people just they assume they hit a certain age, and they're just like, oh, best days are behind me, whatever. But I don't know. You see a lot of old people. A lot of old people are always like, oh, it just gets better and better. And I don't know. I never really realized that.
Are there a lot of them out there?
Yeah, there's a lot of old people out there. Yeah, but they say, no, and I swear they all say it gets better and better. And I never really believed that until recently. I started like rounding, late 30s here. And I'm like, yeah, it is actually getting better. It's at least my life is. I feel like I'm able to, I don't know, dude. If you were to talk to me in high school, because in high school I wanted to do, like several things. I wanted a really cool car, really fast computer, and I wanted to live downtown, real fancy place.
Mhm.
I used to have the car, man. Not a priority anymore, but pretty much achieved all those. Got the
Yeah.
computer, got the place downtown. Like I'm living the dream. So
Oh, computer, not so much. You got it. We both
Well,
need to upgrade this year.
yeah, I can't handle Star Citizen apparently. So yeah, but you can't upgrade right now. But let's not go down that rabbit hole. Next question. Hash Browns asks, "What's your favorite comfort food while you're sick?"
Oh. I don't know. You guys got one?
I have
Obviously
mine's
soups, right? Like soups always
That's
make,
crazy. I had soup the other day, and it reminded me how much I hate soup. I just don't like soup.
like chicken noodle soup when you're
Like
sick.
any kind of soup. I don't like eating liquid, and yet I drink Soylent.
As someone who drinks Soylent
What the
Green,
fuck are you talking about?
I don't
liquid.
like Soylent. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, this is delicious. This is why I eat this every day. It's just easy, dude. Like I don't have to wash dishes or cook or anything. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a fan of soup.
How much plastic waste are you accumulating, dude?
Yeah, and those aren't recyclable either. Like I put them in the recycling, but you can't take them to the places, where you take
Right,
the
right,
cans
right.
and
They're
get
not
the cash
CRV,
back. CRV,
CVR.
exactly. Yeah. So but they are recyclable. But I don't know. Favorite comfort food? I don't really have a whole lot. I know if you
Mine's,
put a bag of chips in front of me, I'll go through the whole damn thing without even thinking. So
Go ahead, Nick.
my comfort food when I'm sick is something called fideo, which
Ooh.
is like a tomato soup with like tiny little noodles. And it's
Angel
like a
hair.
Mexican soup,
It's angel hair.
and it had, huh?
It's angel hair pasta.
Yeah, and
a
then
really thin
it's like it's got like chicken bouillon in it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
tortilla soup is pretty good.
It's not about the food. I'm gonna talk about like what I do when I'm like really sick, and usually it's watching Lord of the Rings, like the whole trilogy. Like if I know I have a lot of time and I can't get out of bed like that, ooh, excuse me, that sick, then I'll watch that. That's usually what I do.
Leslie knows when I'm really sick. When she's like, "You're not going to go in the office and play video games." I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm that sick."
Yeah.
She's like, "Okay, you're dying."
Lord of the
Too
Rings time.
Yeah, that one time I got so sick a couple years ago, I was too sick to play video games, and that never happens. That
Yeah.
was so bad. But here's the crazy thing. Have not been sick at all in over a year now, because as soon as we went on lockdown and I didn't physically go to work, stopped getting sick.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man.
You're surrounded by fucking
Yeah.
sick goblins.
Yeah, but still, I mean, a year, not even a cold, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing at
good.
all. It's crazy. Yeah.
You probably have a super immune system if you're outside of that ecosystem.
Well, wouldn't your immune system like let its guard down if you got outside of that?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I think every time you fucking fail a kid, your fucking immune system does a fucking rep. Really quick about the Lord of the Rings. So HBO Max has the Lord of the Rings remasters,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know if they're live yet, but
But the remasters aren't canon, are they? Got to watch out for
this
that.
fucking guy. So King Kong versus
Deleted
Godzilla
scenes.
is going to be on the 29th, I believe, of this month.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to kind of sneak it in there as one of these DL. Are you interested?
Movies on the DL, but
Yeah.
it's got to be a movie that everyone can watch, though.
Yeah,
gonna be- it's
I'll
gonna
have
be
the
a-
HBO Max and I'll just stream it.
Oh, it's going to be on HBO Max. That's right.
Yeah.
Because they're doing a theater release for that too.
Yeah.
And I'll have my second shot by then, so I'm gonna try to see it if it's playing around here, but I'm not sure what the theater situation is
Yeah.
quite yet. All right, next question. Oh, another one from Hash. Or no, we did that one. Next one is from Days. It's like we got a hypothetical here.
Ooh.
You're going to stage a heist, a robbery of the hottest AI that is Scarlett Johansson. Who are the other 3 people from the DLG community you'll hire, and what roles would you have them be to complete your heist? Can't be each other. You're competing to get the girl first.
I'm gonna go.
I'm going to go Cricket right away. I think
Fuck you.
because he has so much time to do the groundwork.
Exactly. I wanted cricket.
I knew he was going to say it, so I had to jump in front.
He's like, he would plan out. He's like, okay, the clerk on the right has an extra 17 centimeters between her and the clerk on the left, and she's going through a divorce, so you could talk to her, and she'll let her guard down. So, yeah. And you're like, what?
I'd have Days as my decoy, because she is going to, like, just have her having full drag, just walk right through whatever the fuck we're gonna do, and everybody's looking at her. We're gonna grab the other thing over here, and then the escape vehicle is gonna be Rubber Nuts, because he's been playing Forza Horizon 4.
Australians make great wheelmen.
Yeah, incredible wheelmen.
I think there was one in Triple X2. Didn't see the movie. Read the book.
No, not Triple X again.
Yeah, okay, I'm down with that. He's behind the wheel. I'd do that, and then I'd take Recycled would be my tech guy. He'd be in the van with the bleep bloop bleep and the clickety clackety, and then I'd have maybe Warconius up front. He's the face guy with his Canadian charm. He's gonna razzle dazzle him. That's my team.
There you go.
I got Diddy. So if we get caught, he has enough money to bail us out. And I'm gonna go Kurd. Kurd seems like he's a well-balanced individual that like no one would think that would commit a crime.
There you go. Those are good answers.
Yeah. Didn't think of Diddy there. Forgot about that. He'd be good in an entourage. Like if you had a Mark Wahlberg entourage situation, I feel like
Diddy's gonna go in there with like a griddle and like, anyone want a taco, and just like fucking distract everybody.
Or he could flood the entire bank or vault with snakes. He's got an army of snakes at his command.
Yeah.
All right. Last question from Tag Laura. Would you play an Ocean's 11 game series? Which character would you want to be or play as? A lot of heist questions.
I think we all think. Well, Sniper asked for heist questions. So.
Oh, okay.
I think I would love to think that I'm going to be the mastermind, right? But really, I'm just going to be the guy who knocks somebody down at a pivotal time. Like I get a beep on my beeper, and I'm like, this is now, and I just knock out a certain dude and stuff him in a garbage can. Yeah.
I'm going to switch it from Ocean's 11 to the Italian Job, and I'm going to be Seth Green's character who kept ranting about how he got gypped out of inventing Napster or something. I don't know. At the time, I thought that was funny.
I'm going to be if I had to be any guy, it would be like the arms guy, but I would give everybody the complete like wrong gun in the sense of like, hey, we're just gonna rob this bank and we just need shotguns, and like they show up to the place and there's like a musket or like a Barrett 50 cal, and they're like, these aren't the right guns.
They have to figure it out after that.
No, like we're not hiring this guy again.
Here's the thing: are there good heist games? I remember really wanting to like Monaco and just never really being able to get too into that game.
Back in the diddly day, Payday 2.
Payday. Yeah.
Payday 2.
That's the best one.
With an asterisk. Payday 2 was great, but they killed it with too much DLC, and they just tried to milk it too hard, and the cow tipped over. And they're making the third one. I think it's coming out in a couple years, and they've gotten away from that publisher that put the pressure on them to do all that. They had a great game. They just kept changing it. They kept redoing the perk slots, and yeah. That was a good time, man. I have no idea what condition that game is. There was a point, I put like 30 hours into that, like right away, just got hooked into it. And then there was a point where I was just like, I can't keep doing this, man. Like I can't just keep like relearning this game and switching things up and like keeping up with all the DLC. So much DLC. Yeah, there needs to be more heist games is what I'm saying. The Hitman games, I haven't played the new ones, but those look really cool.
One of my favorite memes is when in the Hitman game, when you throw a briefcase, he throws it overhand like this, right? And the briefcase just has the perfect trajectory. Like it doesn't dip at all. And like there's a meme where he throws it at someone that's walking around a corner and it just homes in on her like a missile and knocks her out. It's so weird.
Oh, man. Yeah, the Payday game, so I played like one of the old ones. I think it was the second one, but the new ones is what I'm talking about. You know, they just called it Hitman, and then I think Hitman 2. Those look really cool.
Hitman 3 is out. And it got
Did that come out yet?
It got a 90% on PC Gamer.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be really good, and the graphics are supposed to be really great.
Yeah, and they just had a DLC come out called Hilarious Hijinks, and it's just kind of like joke missions. There's one where I watched the whole thing today. I was going to put it on, but you have to kill the entire royal family by just accidents. You have to set up like chandeliers falling them and stuff, shit like that.
Great.
And there's a bunch of like crazy.
That reminds me of those Lucius games. You ever play those? I don't think you did. I played the first one.
Yeah.
You play the little demon child,
Yeah.
you know, the kid from The Omen, basically, and you've got to murder everybody but make it look like an accident because you're a little devil child. Great idea. First game was pretty good. All right, that's all the listener questions we have. What's everyone playing next week?
Definitely Loop Hero. I'll be playing more of that. God of War when I'm taking care of the kid. Other than that, whatever pops up, I am open.
If someone pays a Patreon, I'll pay whatever that is, but I'm going to be trying to rope my friends and more people into playing Squad.
I don't know, man. I might check out Loop Hero. That looks really cool.
Yeah. Play it off my account.
Yeah, that's right. You already got it. I got your account added. I can easily do that.
Thank you to Diddy. He sent it to me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Speaking of bailing people out. Speak for Nick, Chris, Bobby, and myself. Stolen titties. Bye. Bum, bum, ba, ba, ba. Bye, everybody. Nobody want to talk?